Gorgeous. I just want to say, so these are the symptoms that I noticed when I was crossed. So I noticed that my finances had not come back. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So I had felt like very like exhausted and just like things were not really working on my favor and I didn't understand. And I know that I'm a chaos magician or chaos witch and curandera, whatever. I'm also an astrology as well. Like I consider myself eclectic in the sense of like I do study, a lot of different things, but it makes sense according to my life or what it is that I'm heading towards or whatever next assignment or mission that they're going to send me on. Anyway, so I have a very specific protections and but I've been recently figuring out how to decode or break the system as I know it and get into a certain identity that I didn't have before, that was more confident. And as I was putting up boundaries, as I was stepping into divine dark divine feminine and the dark goddesses, but I also respect them because of the both sides that they live by, because I also value and decided to go and seek out guidance from spirits, ascended masters that believe in the same things as me, like protection, releasing oppression, the safety and care for divine femininity, and for taking care of mothers and children and generations to come, and having this responsibility, right? Really ending oppression. And that is what Hecate, Dark Mother Goddess, and Santa Muerte, and what Aphrodite, because there's a version of her that does actually go through that as well. And also finding out that they are all linked based on whatever culture, that is my personal belief system, seeing them everywhere, how they manifest into our lives, depending on how we need them to be, basically from the past, and then kind of how it's carried on, and they have shown up, recommitted, regrown, restructured themselves, right? So anyways, I'm learning things that I didn't know before, or I'm going more in depth on things, and I'm not afraid of my shadow work, and I'm not afraid of my power, and I'm gaining more confidence. And I got some jealous eye, right? It happens. It's normal, I guess. I mean, it sucks, but people be doing the most, with the littlest, and be paying the most attention to you when you least expect it. And they just don't have anything else to do. Like, they will show up, they don't have anything else to do, they don't have anything else to feed off of. Or even if they have multiple targets, this is another thing that if they can target a spiritual, like, sovereign being and try to utilize their energy to fast track their process because they believe that it'll get them ahead, or that they can steal these blessings, bitch, you don't know a bitch that knows karma, dumb hoe. Like, anyway, whatever, not the point. I'm not gonna do anything, but I did an uncrossing on myself. So these are the symptoms. So that was kind of the backstory of how things started happening, but these are the symptoms that you are going through an uncrossing. You feel like you're in constant like filth and heaviness. You start to notice that the reality that you're creating, like, you already learned these lessons, but for some reason you're feeling called to go back to basics or some sort of grounding. Your messages are not clear. I want to name out one of the people from all of the mentors and all of the studies that I've had, and it will continue to do. Anastasia Bonnet is such an amazing teacher, so please listen to her because she knows what she's talking about, especially if you have fire as your dominant in astrology. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that. Anyways, so it was feeling really hazy, and it was feeling very unique or weird. I also want to mention in Vedic astrology, I am a Cancer, Leo cusp, and in Western astrology, I'm a full Leo. Okay. Anyway, so video cut out and I don't know what I last said, but we're gonna merge the two videos, so it's gonna be a little bit weird. But let's go ahead and start. So I don't know what symptoms I talked about, but we're gonna re-talk about the symptoms of being uncrossed and what I experienced during this, whole ordeal. So I couldn't get my cards to be correct, or my channels were a little off when it came to me. I was overly exhausted, and my road openers and my block removers and my cleansers were expelling at an exponential rate. Like, they were expiring a lot quicker. It seemed to be very overcrowded, and I felt the need to constantly cleanse myself, and if not cleanse myself, I was taking more showers than normal than I usually take, which is weird, but I wasn't enjoying the process of showering the way that I usually do because I turn to water for a lot of healing. Hey, if you're a water girly, let me know, because same. Anyway, and I was turning to grounding meditations, but sometimes it wasn't they weren't fully working. And then it just felt like no matter how much sleep I was getting, I couldn't get more enough sleep, if you will. And then I noticed, or I realized, nah, somebody, this is weird because all of the things that I usually do aren't working. I take a lot of evasive, or not evasive, but I take a lot of magical action when it comes to me feeling okay, because I know what it takes to feel okay, and I like experiencing peace and happiness and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, no, like something's wrong. Like I don't want to exercise. Like I'm struggling to brush my teeth. Like I'm starting to feel the pit of my stomach of like it's different levels of depression. Like I got stuck somewhere in the shadow work and something happened. I need to get pulled out. Instead of being pulled out by just turning to my partner, like I need to pull myself out. So I started like working out. I started grounding so I could get some clarity. I started doing clarity candles. I started doing a lot of cleansing. I disappeared from social media, and I also started cleansing my ancestral space and the space of the goddesses area, which was chef's kiss and so phenomenal. And then without saying a word, without even realizing that I was doing it, as I was like focusing on like, you know, what I'm studying right now, which is nails, and I'm also studying, you know, different stories of astrology and whatnot, like every day, even if it's like a little bit of effort, like I am putting any amount of work that I can that day, you know, towards my passions, right, and my goals. Even if it's a small amount and I need to take more rest or whatever the case may be, or I need to recharge, like I am doing what it takes to get there. So that includes like exercise, that includes like getting better with the food choices that I make. When I'm not making the right food choices, I notice that like everything seems out of place. I'm paying attention to my body more, when usually you wouldn't pay attention to your body, but I'm paying more attention to my body and regulating. So I like was getting the most wildest videos on my FYP. Some lady, I don't know who, so sorry if I can't answer if you guys are asking who, but a lady was like, reset your money code, reset your money code, reset your money code. And I was like, why do I need to do? I was like, I was crossed. I don't know why, but I was like, I was crossed. Like it just wouldn't stop whispering in the back of my head. And then like her freaking video shows up, and it was like some symptoms, Anastasia Bonnet, some symptoms that you were crossed. And then she starts talking about the haziness and the cards feel off. She starts talking about your connection to your ancestors is weird. She starts talking about like you're not feeling yourself. Like she starts talking about all of it. She starts talking about financial like downfall, and that was happening as well for me. And like she starts talking about all of the symptoms that I really went through. But I'm telling you all from firsthand experience, you know, what I went through and in the order that they showed up for me. And even like me losing like the will to like read my passions. So I started kind of getting lost into, you know, different worlds of like movies or like binging shows just to kind of like recuperate while I was, and this is over like a 3-day period. Like we're not talking like this was for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like nah bitch, like this was over 3 ass days, like because I'm like fuck no, like I'm not trying to waste any more time here, like okay. So I started with mini candles, and I knew that I needed to wait for something before I could move on to bigger candles. More information needed to reveal itself. I was doing divination, I was doing channeling, I was doing different methods. I was restructuring my gratitude list, really trying to like work on my body, work on myself, work on the feelings that I was there with. And then I needed to climb out, and I like then really looked at the astrology that I was like handed, and I was like, oh my god. And like earlier that day, like I literally flicked off the world and literally stepped into my authority and literally said fuck no, no more bitch, like I'm done. I don't know what possessed me, but I did a self-love transmutation, you know, evil eye candle, and then I did a uncrossing, and I've been uncrossed, and I did a very intense protection. Yeah, anyway, so these are the symptoms that I decided to do, okay? And yeah, but I wanted to bring it up because you might be crossed and you don't know it. So if you are going through a ridiculous amount of financial turmoil, even though you are already aligned and are used to a new version of your like finances, and that shit reset or something like that, somebody crossed you, bitch. Let me know in the comments, and let me know if this works out for you, if the order sequence of the candles worked out for you. But you need an uncrossing, and the blockbusters and road openers won't really like totally take care of the entire problem, okay? But Anastasia Bonnet already has a video on that. But just so you know, a cleanser could do the job, a cord cutting could do the job, but the best thing for you to do, because it's not exactly the issue, is you need to do an uncrossing. They are not more powerful than you, they just hexed you, bitch. Okay, bye.